Hello, people, and welcome to the show. I'm so grateful to have you. And tonight we're going to talk about some pretty cool things. But before I get to the main topics of tonight, I do want to remind you that it's super important to tell your friends, your family, your crew, your posse, and anybody who will listen to you to like, subscribe, join our Patreon community to help spread the word about the show. I sincerely appreciate it, and every day it is growing. As is my Twitter following. For some reason, that seems to be growing in leaps and bounds. We are just a biscuit from 130,000 followers. So if you have a person in your life who is not following me on Twitter, tell them to follow me at Pam Keith FL. I have also started posting a little bit more on TikTok and Instagram, so check me out there. Same tag, Pam Keith FL. So let's talk about what is going on today. You know what's interesting is that every day now seems a kind of slow news day because there's just no catastrophes happening. Like every day under TFG was like the latest in his attempt to distract from one bad headline with another bad headline. He kept us spun up all the time. And so it's kind of interesting adjusting to this normal news cycle. It feels kind of dead. It feels kind of boring, but there are some things that we do need to talk about, and it's important that we do that. So, number one, let us talk about the report that came out, I think it was either yesterday or today, about the extreme rise in hate crimes against Asian Americans. Now, I hope you remember about this time a year ago, the Republican Party, in an effort to deflect attention from Donald Trump's inanity, decided that it was going to call the COVID-19 virus the China virus. This was their move after they called it a Democrat hoax and realized that that wasn't really going to work out for them because people were really dying. Ergo, the whole hoax thing was kind of a problem because basically for it to be a hoax, people had to be faking their deaths. I mean, when they originally called it a Democrat hoax, tens of thousands of Italians had died from this thing. So their minions believed it was a Democratic hoax at a time when thousands and thousands of Italians had died. And nobody explained how the Democratic Party got to all these Italians and convinced them to either commit suicide or to fake their deaths and stay dead so that they wouldn't come back later when they want to go to the grocery store or whatever. And somehow millions of Republicans could actually believe something like that, which I still find shocking to this day. But once they realized that the majority of rational people were not buying the whole it's a hoax thing, then they had to explain and divert away from that lie by trying to shift the blame. And what they did was they shifted blame to China. They figured, we could make it China's fault. We need to block all travel from China. We need to isolate China. We need to blame China for not telling us the truth. We need to be mad at China, and it's all China's fault. Now, it may be true that China was not completely transparent and honest with us. I'm not sure I buy that, but it's possible. Then again, China's not our friend. China's our adversary. We have a trust but verify relationship. There is a reason why we had a forward deployed virus, team, that was forward deployed and actually in China at all times from the, I think it was from the CDC. We had a forward deployed virology team from the CDC that was living and working in China for the express purpose of giving us a heads up when something else new and novel would pop up out of there, be it, SARS or bird flu or whatever, right? MERS or whatever. And the first thing Donald Trump did when he got into the presidency that he usurped was to pull them back and say, we don't need people in China, to tear up our pandemic preparation plan, right? And to pretend like we don't need people who are pandemic specialists anymore. He fired everybody. And then when we got slammed with the pandemic, he's like, how could we possibly know? Because you took out all the early warning signals we could possibly have, dumbass. So they decided that, the right thing to do in that circumstance would be to blame China. But they know their people. We know their people. Everybody knows their people. And they use the word China virus because they knew that their minions would take that up and use that as a racist meme, as a call to shun, attack, discriminate, and be violent against Asian Americans. Because it's not like these people are subtle enough to know the difference between someone who's of Chinese ancestry and someone who's not. Like, to them, they're just all Chinamen, right? Because that's how narrow-minded, bigoted people are. And so it should surprise no one that gambit took hold with their following, because that's what they wanted it to do. They wanted their following to be mad at somebody, not Donald Trump. So they found somebody or some group of people that their folks can be mad at, because that is the true essence of Trumpism to begin with. Grievance mongering. You gotta be mad at somebody to be a Trumper. You gotta be blaming somebody, some group of persons, for the ills of the world if you are a Trumper. And it's very easy to shift from hating Black people to hating Asian people to hating gay people to hating liberals. Like, you gotta hate somebody. And so why not just move your attention to hating the Chinese people or the Asian people, because that will distract you from the fact that Donald Trump is sabotaging and subverting your ability to survive this thing. So that's what they did. And of course, it should surprise no one that many, many Democrats, including myself, were all over social media saying, don't do this. This is dangerous. This is unfair scapegoating. You're going to increase the number of attacks on Asians. And they came back at us and say, why do you love China so much? Why are you a China apologist? Who's paying you from China to back up their story? I'm not being paid by China to do a damn thing. And of course, it's always like them to be projecting, because they do get paid by Russia to carry their water. Bottom line is, I knew that this is not on China. If China didn't tell us the truth, duh. When do we ever expect China to tell us the truth? Right? They don't take an oath to tell us the truth. Donald took an oath to protect the United States. Damn well verified. Right? If China tells you something, don't take it at face value. No, duh. Who does that? So I'm not going to blame China for being China doing what China does. It lies about a lot of things. Why would we believe that? Why not verify for ourselves? Oh, Don, he didn't want to do that. He was too busy trying to make deals with Xi Jinping and, that whole secret Chinese bank account of money that we don't know where it went, where it started, what happened with all of that. But he was trying to make deals, and so therefore he didn't want to piss off Xi Jinping and then turn around and do it anyway. Because then it was to deflect blame off of himself. I raise this because my friend Kurt Bardella is of ancient ancestry. He's actually Korean, not Chinese. But, like I said, in America, everybody's Chinaman, right? If you are a bigot and you're a racist, that's kind of how you think. And so, he has raised this issue. A lot of others have raised this issue. There's been an absolutely astronomical increase in hate crimes against Asian Americans, and it's got to freaking stop. And personally, I would like to believe that calling on our Republican opponents to actually stand up and say this is wrong would be fruitful, but they're inured to anybody suffering but their own, a constant grievance mode. So do I trust that they're actually going to stand up and say that this is wrong and tell their minions to stop doing this? No, but I'm going to tell them that they should anyway. Because it's the right thing to do. You started this mess. You should probably clean it up. You were warned a year ago that this was the consequence, and you just didn't care. Because as long as it's not harming you, what does it matter? You selfish, bigoted little assholes who did this. You know this was wrong. You knew it was wrong while you were doing it, and you did it anyway. This is why people are absolutely through with you, especially as you try to be sanctimonious now. Own what you did. It was wrong. Admit that Donald Trump messed that up. It's not on China to protect the United States. It's on Trump to protect the United States, and he failed to do so. Own it. And stop blaming every Tom, Dick, and Harry, Susie, Sam, and Sally for the failures of your guy.
If you like what you just heard, you can find out so much more and hear so much more on my Patreon channel. Patreon.com/Pam Keith FL. That's where you hear the rest of this discussion, and there's lots more to share.